Old Spice means quality, said the captain to the bosun. So ask for the package with the ship that sails the ocean. Yo-ho, yo-ho.
Here's a fellow who looks and feels like the top of the morning.
Oh, do I have to use the aftershave?
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Old Spice Aftershave Lotion. The happiest ending a shave ever had. And it's good for your skin. Makes your face wake up. Tingles it to a clean, fresh feeling.
Oh, it's stinging!
That's Old Spice Aftershave Lotion from the laboratories of Shulton.
Hey guys, Matt here and welcome to my fragrance obsession. I hope we're all doing very, very well today. Now, as you can see right here on this table, I have Old Spice. Now, this is a fragrance that's been out for a very, very long time. In fact, this fragrance came out in 1937. It's funny because I don't think a lot of people realize how long this fragrance has really been out for, because this fragrance gets a lot of hate. A lot of people say that it smells like granddads. A lot of people say that it smells like their dad, which is probably true, let's be honest, because with this being such an old fragrance, a lot of men have actually worn this over the years, so it isn't really a mystery. But this fragrance is one of my favorites of all time, and for a very good reason. Not only is the smell good, but my grandfather actually wore this fragrance. Now, I have already reviewed this fragrance, and I want to basically redo it because I really cringe when I look back at myself, so that's the reason for that. Now, I remember in my last video, I spoke about my granddad, and my granddad was an amazing person. He sadly died when I was only 5 years old, so I have a few memories of him, not quite a lot, but one of my memories of him is that he used to wear this fragrance. I just instantly think of my granddad. It smells like him. You know, when he used to cuddle me, whenever he used to, take me out, I used to always smell this on his skin, along with the smell of his leather jacket. Brings back great memories. So, Grandad, this one is for you, buddy. So before we go ahead and talk about the smell, I just want to show you guys what versions I've got here. Now, everyone knows Old Spice, especially here in the UK. This is what the version looks like today. This is the aftershave. It's 150ml and it's made by Procter & Gamble. It's not really that good, if I'm honest with you. I mean, it works just like a normal aftershave does, but it doesn't have the classic smell of Old Spice. Because the Old Spice that I remember was spicy and it had a lot of character to it. This one just pretty much smells like a very watered down ghost version of Old Spice. Even the Old Spice aftershave was known as quite a strong smell. So, I think P&G have really killed this fragrance, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, that's the aftershave, and I mean, it's not bad. It does the job as an aftershave, but it doesn't hold the true smell of Old Spice. This was the second bottle I ever purchased. This is another aftershave. And I think this one comes from the 1970s because it's got on the bottom here, Old Spice Binocular Decanter. If I'm correct, I believe Old Spice used to release a lot of memorabilia bottles. They used to release a lot of really cool bottle designs. Kind of a little bit like what Avon did back in the sort of 60s and 70s. And Old Spice have really, become a collector's item to a lot of people. In fact, a lot of people collect a lot of their items, whether it's aftershaves, colognes, shaving creams, the bowls even. You can even get the Old Spice bowls with the logo on the front and everything. They're all known as, really good collectibles. And this one, I only paid like $1. And I got this from a Goodwill store when I was in the States. And in case you guys don't know what Goodwill is, it's pretty much like a charity store. This is good. This is really, really good stuff. This is like that classic Old Spice smell, but it kind of smells like it's turned a little bit. I could be wrong. I mean, it might just be because it's an aftershave, and it is old, let's be honest. I mean, 1970s, it's not exactly yesterday. And this was the third fragrance that I got. And I actually got this from, again, another Goodwill store. It was in a gift set. I think I only paid like $4 for this. I got this, and I think I got like an aftershave balm and a shower gel with it. So Yeah, this is actually all right. Again, it doesn't smell like classic Old Spice. It doesn't have the Old Spice smell that I remembered. But yeah, it's still not bad. It's still not bad. But the best, this is an eau de toilette that I think I paid about £23 for this. 150ml on eBay. This is Old Spice. This is the Old Spice I grew up with. This is the Old Spice that I remember smelling on my granddad. And I'm pretty sure this is the Old Spice that everybody grew up and loved. Because this fragrance was manufactured by the company of Shulton. But in 1990, Procter & Gamble took over the company. So Old Spice hasn't really been the same. But yeah, this is a great version though, guys. I mean, I've never really seen an eau de toilette for this fragrance either, so it's quite unique. But let's go ahead and talk about the presentation, okay? So here's what we have. We have this really, really cool bottle design. What we get is we get a red cap, which comes off like this, and we get this atomizer, very classic looking, really, really like it. Gold around here. We get Old Spice in one of their countless many fonts that they've had over the years. We get Eau de Toilette underneath, and we get this yacht. Now the yacht is really, really interesting because for many, many years, even up until Old Spice launched, the main picture for Old Spice was always a sailing ship. However, in the 1980s, Shulton really wanted to change the picture. So they thought, right, well, instead of making it a ship, let's simply make it a yacht. Because yachts, let's be honest, they are a little bit more modern looking than, you know, all those classic ships from the 1800s and 1900s. These days, they've gone back to the ship, even though you can kind of see it there. You can probably see it better a little bit on here. Yeah, you can see the ship right there on top. It's not really clear, so I do apologise. But I do prefer this bottle design, if I'm honest with you. It just, you know, overall, it just looks better. So, yeah. And we get some information on the back here. We get Shulton and just loads of information there. We get 150ml, just blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, guys, that is the presentation. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this insanely impressive smell from this Eau de Toilette Old Spice that I only purchased the other day on eBay. And let's go ahead and talk about the notes. Okay, let's spray it. Decent sprayer actually for a, you know, a really vintage bottle, but it's really good. So here's something interesting before I go ahead and talk about the overall smell. When I was a kid, this was the smell that I actually used to smell on my grandfather. The exact same smell. This is identical. This is the stuff that I smell on him. And for many, many years, ever since I've, you know, grown up and, you know, I've worn Old Spice myself, I've never really noticed this about Old Spice. But Old Spice has a very fleeting cinnamon note. I don't get cinnamon out of this aftershave. I don't even get cinnamon out of this. In this, I get a cinnamon. But I want to talk to you about the cinnamon when we come up to the cinnamon. So it's my favourite note in the whole fragrance. But of course, we will talk about the cinnamon when we come to it. So the top notes for this fragrance, we get orange, lemon, spices, clary sage, and aldehydes. Now, as soon as I spray this fragrance, I get a very warm but clean aroma. What I get is a sort of combination between the orange and the lemon. It's very fruity. It's almost quite refreshing, but it's not like a zest or anything like that. This is a very warm, citrusy combination. I do get a bit of the sage. The sage gives it a bit of greenness. It gives it that bit of powderiness in the opening. Kind of also gives this saltiness. Really, really strange. But it works. It really does. And then after that, after this fragrance has been on your skin for about 30 seconds, you get my favorite note. Now let's go ahead and talk about the middle notes. The middle notes, we get cinnamon, carnation, geranium, jasmine, heliotrope, and pimento berry. Now, the cinnamon note is unlike any other cinnamon that I've ever smelled in any other fragrance. Now, I love cinnamon, in case you guys don't know, or you may already know. I love the smell of cinnamon. Anything about cinnamon is just, you know, as soon as there's a fragrance there with cinnamon in, I'm there. This is the best. This is a cinnamon unlike any other cinnamon I've ever smelled. The cinnamon in this, you guys are going to think I'm weird, but when I say this, I'm being deadly honest. The cinnamon in this Eau de Toilette bottle of Old Spice smells like Cinnabon. Okay, now a lot of you might not have been to Cinnabon, but Cinnabon is a very popular sort of restaurant bakery in the United States of America, where they are very notorious for making cinnamon buns. They are so delicious, and whenever me and my girlfriend would go to the mall in the States, pretty much the first thing you'd smell as soon as you go in there is Cinnabon. So the whole place would stink of cinnamon, and it smells exactly like this. Gives it a bit of a festive smell, you know, that warm, crisp cinnamon smell. It's like that. I get a little bit of geranium. I also get a bit of jasmine. The jasmine, and I would say the jasmine and the heliotrope give the fragrance that powderiness. It's amazing because for years I've always thought of this fragrance as a clean, sort of refreshing scent, when this version is sort of half spicy and half fresh. Really, really strange. But it works. It really, really, really works in a very strange way. It is just a very spicy scent. Very spicy. It's a little bit woody. It's powdery with the florals. And it's got a little bit of citruses from that orange and the lemon in the top. Beautiful. Now, the dry down for Old Spice, we get vanilla, musk, cedarwood, frankincense, benzoin, tonka bean, and ambergris. So the dry down, in this fragrance, you get this very bold vanilla. It's like a combination and mix between the vanilla, the musk, the frankincense, the tonka bean, and the ambergris. So the overall smell in the dry down is just sheer quality. Imagine a very soft vanilla. It's bold, but very much like a very genuine vanilla smell with a bit of a rugged quality about it. Imagine like an earthy vanilla. That's what this is like. And that ambergris adds this saltiness. It adds that sort of earthiness to it in the dry down. And it gives the vanilla this sort of creaminess, but richness at the same time. And it's just like a very masculine vanilla. Definitely one of the most masculine vanillas I've smelled. But I think, honestly, one of the most beautiful vanillas I've ever smelled. But this eau de toilette lasts on my skin for about 4 to 5 hours. So the longevity isn't perfect, but the whole duration of this scent is just absolutely marvelous. It hits you straight away. Like, as soon as you spray this fragrance, it is bold, it is strong, and it has very, very good sillage. And like, whenever I wear this, it always leaves a trail behind me. A lot of people have always said, especially my mom, because she loves this fragrance. Whenever I wear it and I walk past her, she's always commenting me saying, "Oh wow, you wear an Old Spice?" And I'm just like, yeah. And yeah, so I think for anybody who smells this fragrance, if you're walking past, I think it does very well. My favourite note of this whole fragrance by far is that cinnamon note. It's just absolutely stunning. I mean, I've heard people say, you know, the vintage Old Spice has some of the best cinnamon around, and I can quite frankly agree with that right now. But when it comes to the old formulations, I mean, honestly, I'm not really that impressed. But if you guys would really like to see me, you know, go into more detail with all of these versions of Old Spice that I've currently got, please do let me know, because, you know, if you guys want to see content that, you know, that you would enjoy, please do let me know and I'll quite happily do it for you. So yeah, this has been my review for Old Spice. I really do hope you've enjoyed it. Please do let me know in the comments what you thought of this review. And I would be quite happy to get back with you guys. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thanks for all the support. Honestly, it's incredible. So if you guys are any fans of Old Spice, you need to get the Shulton version. You just have to. It'll blow your mind, seriously. Because it's so incredible, guys. This is a gorgeous scent that I think any man at any age could get away with. Because I've seen so many reviews and people have said, you know, Old Spice is for men and just all this stuff. I'm just, you know, Old Spice is just not for men, okay? Anyone can wear this fragrance. It's a timeless scent that, you know, I truly do feel respect for. And, you know, of course, I miss my granddad every single day. So whenever I smell this, it brings back nice memories for me. So yeah, it's great. So guys, thank you so much for watching my review on Shulton's Old Spice. This is a really classic fragrance that came out in 1937. So old. And I can't believe it's still around. It's a great scent. I would highly recommend it. Keep smelling good, guys, and have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.